Hello everyone and welcome back. Today's video is going to cover the heater box assembly. It's been disassembled, painted, new motor added to it, reassembled. So you also will get to see a neighbor interrupt videotaping, and I just was on a roll so I left it in there. Also lost a part at the end that you get to see me find a very obvious part that was missing, but who would have known? So it is a little bit lengthier video, so if you get bored, just skip through it a bit, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. Okay, I know the lighting's not the best in here, but I've got this laid out on my bench the way it came out of the truck. Over on this side was a paper vent that went to the outside of the truck. And this cover comes down, the motor mounted right in there from the back side. And then the cables in the truck went to this arm here and this one right over here. One controls heat, the other for for defrost or heater. Let me spin this around and I'll show you the other side. Alrighty, so this is the firewall side, the 3 bolts that come through the firewall. And over here, again, there's the heater core, where this was kind of sealed in place, had a seal running up over here. I'm going to have to clean up. But also had this piece of metal right here. Let me show this over here for you guys. That actually bolted up and helped hold this fiberglass vent portion in place. And there are 3 holes that hold that in place, and one at the bottom. Fan kind of just slid in here, again screwed in, kind of like that. I'm going to replace the motor. I can get them found them online for $25 to $35 depending where I go. And then the last bolt, which came through the firewall, was over here. And I showed you that in the previous video. So plan on cleaning this thing up a bit. I don't know if I'm going to repaint it or not. I haven't decided just yet. But I definitely want to get some of the 50 years of dirt off of it. So I'll show you when it's all done and reassembled. Well, after 54 years, it took a little bit of work to get this motor out from the squirrel cage. But I found this after I removed the rubber gasket over here, and I thought it was kind of cool. I thought I'd share it with you. December 18th, 1963. Been a long time that motor's been attached on there with nobody diving into it. Time to start cleaning parts. Here we are with all of the painted parts spread out on my makeshift bench. I've got a couple of these hollow core doors that I put on horses when my bench is too cluttered up to use, which is the case today. And I'm going to show you the heater box once everything's put back together. Hope I can remember how to put it back together. If not, this video will end right here. I don't know how much of this is going to be worth watching, but if you're bored and you want to see somebody cussing a little bit, feel free to follow along. Oh, the fun that we will have. So I shut the camera off for a few minutes because I just did not have enough screws here, and I was wondering what happened to them. Well, I found a bag of screws that apparently I tossed to the side on the cluttered workbench back there, and they did not get painted. So you know what? This thing's going back together with unpainted screws. I don't really care at this point. So we continue on. wanted to attach the new motor to this mounting plate, which mounts in the housing here. And I found that the new motor is slightly different than the old one. This was the rubber gasket that went in between the motor and this plate to help seal it. And the motor just is not sitting flush or even at a 90-degree perpendicular here. So I've decided not to include that gasket for reassembly. Let's continue. Hi, how are you?
Good, how's your dad?
Oh, he's doing great, thank you.
That's good.
Never mind it, we're videotaping here. Let's just interrupt everything. Oh boy. Alrighty guys, here's the deal. My memory card filled up, so I had to go in the house and dump some video off of it onto the computer. And I'm running out of daylight, so I wanted to get a final video here before I sign off. I've got to have this assembled tonight because it's going back in the truck tomorrow. And I've got a few extra pieces over here. Mainly these screws. I got a few extra screws in here, and I don't quite remember exactly how this mounted to the main housing, so I got to go back and review my videos, but I wanted to give you a quick walk around of it, pretty much fully assembled. I'm fairly happy with how it turned out paint wise. I used a Rust-Oleum paint spray can, which on the can it says it's good for plastics, metal, wood, a few other things. And since this back housing is fiberglass, I wanted a paint that could, cover multi-surfaces. This is the firewall side. If you recall, these 3 bolts go through the firewall. And then at the tail end down here, this bolt comes through the firewall, and a nut secures that to the inside of the firewall. What else do I want to say about this before we sign off? Oh, the controls. So on the inside of the cab, this side is on the inside of the cab. This connects to the fresh air duct on the truck, which comes in on the passenger side. And then on this box, there's one control down here and one right here. I just had two cables on mine. And this one just basically shuts off the plenum internally. And this one directs it from the floor to defrost. I did not really see a heat control on this, unless it's the fresh air duct here, which you can open and close when you want. Well, let's say I don't have that bolted on yet, but you can close that and push it open for fresh air. But I don't recall either of these other two controls turning on or turning off heat. These are for the fan. There's high and low for fan speed, and that was about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next one. So guys, watched my video to see what I was missing, and it's amazing what the eyes can't see when you're staring right at something. Do you see it? Do you see it? Yeah. How am I going to get any heat without that in there? So when I was looking at this, I'm staring at the two holes right there. And there's 3 bolt holes for the screws right there. And for the life of me, I can't figure out what goes in there. What am I missing here? And so I went back to my video and heater core. Imagine that. So I'm going to put this in and keep pushing forward. Well, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for stopping by again, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.